You know, they burned Atlanta to the ground. Yeah, but Atlanta rose up. Because of black folk. Atlanta gonna turn them ashes into gold. This how we fight? The perfect hustle.
Get on the ground! It's a fucking robbery.
I put together a party for Frank Moulton, the black godfather.
All I ask is that you provide a legitimate living for this family.
This one here is the one that you put me on top, and I feel it for us. I'm thinking Black Vegas, gambling, liquor, women.
You still need to reach out to the council of all the top black bosses across the nation.
Growing up in Atlanta and you started in community theater and you have this background in the arts, I'd love to know from your perspective, what really drew you into acting?
It was an escape for me. So that's what it originally was. I had a rough childhood. Just, you know, we were poor and there was just a lot going on, you know, so it felt like a place, like doing acting felt like a place where I could just not be in my own reality, you know, so that is what first honestly like really drew me to it. It allowed me to like forget my reality. So
in Fight Night, you're working with a lot of heavy hitters. So, you know, Kevin Hart, Taraji P. Henson, Don Cheadle, Samuel L. Jackson, Terrence Howard, like crazy cast list. Did you learn anything working alongside them?
It was a masterclass. It was so amazing. Honestly, booking the job was just one present. But to also be on set was like, it felt like Christmas, honestly. This year has felt like Christmas for me. Like I booked the job, that was great. But then to be on set with these people that I've looked up to, I've watched their work over the years and I get to watch them up close, like front row seat, because there was a time while filming, I asked the director to shadow. So I shadowed the director. I learned from that. Like I learned the POV from that way. You know, like I was just trying to really like, cause I didn't know, you know, as actors, we don't work constantly. And I was just trying to find ways to, you know, let me soak up as much info as I can. So that's why I was just like, I'm going to shadow the director. And it was probably the best decision I made this entire year.
Was it kind of like an audition that just came up, or did you know someone?
It was I saw it very last minute. I actually got the audition 3 hours before it was due, and it was over Zoom. And it was 3 pages of dialogue. I wear glasses, so I am a person who has to memorize her audition. So 3 hours, I was just like, am I going to get off book? Am I going to be able to like memorize this in the time and, you know, do my makeup and hair by the time the audition? And I just, you know, it's so funny because I was watching the David Beckham documentary on Netflix, and it was just very inspiring. It was God's timing, you know, because I had just happened to be watching it. And then randomly I decided to curl some clip-ins that I had because I was apparently going to go outside and be cute. And then I just decided like, oh my God, I'm going to watch this documentary. And then out of nowhere, I decided to look at my phone. I hadn't looked at my phone all day. I look at my phone and there's an audition, you know, and I was just like talking to God about like, oh my God, I cannot wait because I was watching that documentary. It was so inspiring. And I was like, I can't wait to finally get the opportunity, God. I know I can do this. I know I can do this. And then I get the audition and I was like, oh my God, you're working so fast. It's crazy. And then I looked at the time that the audition was due and that it was in Zoom, in person. Zoom auditions now are like our version of in-person auditions. And so I was just like, oh, it's due in 3 hours. Oh, wow. This is okay. So I was just like, at first I panicked because for some reason. That's what I do first. I panicked and I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. Like 3 hours, is that going to be enough time for me to break down the script, the character, and memorize and do my hair and makeup? And then I looked up at the TV and the documentary was paused. And I was literally like, it's either you're going to do it or you're not. You know, you literally just watched this documentary, got inspired, felt like, oh my God, I need the opportunity. You have the opportunity. Yeah, it's not wrapped in a gift like you want it to be, but it's an opportunity. And after that, I was just like, yeah, let me do it. So I got up, immediately started doing my hair, my makeup, found an outfit, memorized the lines in less than 30 minutes. I've never done that before. And broke it all down. And I was actually ready before the time. The story is way deeper than that. There were so many, like, it just felt destined, honestly, if I'm being honest. Yeah, like I did one take. She gave Daniels, I'm so grateful for her. She gave me a redirect. I did the take again, dropped a line, but called for line in character, kept going. And that was it. There was no callback. They put me on hold. They were like, yeah, we're going to pin her like 2 hours later. And then I booked it 2 days later. It moved so fast. I didn't have time to think, like the entire thing. Like after I booked it, 2 days later, I was doing the table read. And then 2 days later, I was flying to Atlanta. I didn't have time to really like fully process this thing.
You know, jumping into that world and being kind of immersed in it for however long it was that you were on set. Did you have enough context to really get into the character once you got there?
I don't want to say too much, but I'll talk about the context part. So I did do a lot of research, and I'm also a Southern woman from the South. Not obviously from the 70s, but I just, researched what it would be like to be a Black woman in the 70s and go through those things and how, how you move about the world during that time as a mother, as a devout Christian, and just being in Atlanta as well, and I think all of that kind of brought me to where I needed to be. And yeah, that mixed with everything else, like what me and Shay, who's the creator and writer, we had talks about Faye and how she was and just her personality. And those two things together, they just all, like the backstory that I built, they all connected. Like if one thing was certain, then I was like, okay, I need to create the backstory to connect to that. And that's basically how I came up with her, because she's based on a person, but I wasn't able to get in contact with that person. So I just, I hope I did, my best.
You've done Law and Order, you've done a lot of like drama, crime drama. Do you just gravitate to those types of programs or stories?
I like to consider myself a character actor. I do mostly drama things though. I think just my background as far as life, I feel like I connect to it more, or it finds me more, I love drama though. It is my favorite genre for sure. An art and a skill. Like I have one friend, she is so good at it. And, whenever I have a comedy audition, I'm like, I'm just going to call my friend. I told this to so many people. Being on the set of Fight Night was like going to your cousin's house to work. Yes, we were so close-knit. Honestly, tonight was the premiere. We were so excited to see each other. We spent all night together, like some of us. We were so close on set. Like it felt like a family. I've never felt that way about any set, like being, and it's sad because you're like, when you leave, you're like, dang, when am I ever going to work with these people again? Or when am I going to work on a set with this type of energy? Like we were so close. And I've worked with, a few people in there. Everyone's great. But this set, we were like, we joked around. When you see it, I don't know if you've seen it, but like, it is the show is so good. It's made so well, but we had a lot of fun behind the scenes. Like we joked around, we clowned, we did our job, but we had a lot of fun. I love Atlanta. I love the South. I love the food. It's so bad for you. Like, oh my God, but I love it. I love it. I'm dreaming about it right now. But I like the slowness of Atlanta. I like, the nature out there. Like LA has nature, but Atlanta, it's just like even like there's a certain type of weather where the air is moist and it's cool. So if it's like a cool breeze, I don't know how to explain it. And when I went, I said, oh my God, I haven't experienced this in a minute. Because I haven't lived in Atlanta for like 8 years, I think. So it's always amazing to book something where you're from and be able to go back there and, work. It's like, wow, where it all started,
In terms of evolving your acting career, where do you see yourself?
Honestly, I would like to get into producing. I have a lot of ideas for shows that I would like to come into fruition. I'd love to I'd love to be in a sci-fi like The Last of Us. Love that show. I'd love to be in a suspense drama. I would love to just do the work. I don't have a favorite genre, but like I have a whole bunch of shows that I love. And so I would like to do work like that. I definitely want to do work that heals me and my audience. And stuff that I just, would have fun, but also a challenge. I love a challenge. Hate to admit it, but I love a challenge.
And this little shindig is just the beginning.
I remember I actually heard this was announced a while ago and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks so cool. And then, to be able to speak with you about it is incredible.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to talk with you today. It was amazing. You're going to love it. When you watch it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is good. But it's like, I always say this about Black people, how we are like, we're serious, but everything we do, like as far as TV and film, has a little bit of comedy because we are just a funny group of people. And so it has that, but it's a drama. Sure.
You bring together all the baddest mothers around. Well, something's bound to go down.
Everybody get on the fucking ground!
This whole city's about to be a crime scene.